Are you frustrated with wyvern hunts? Just can't seem to pass wyvern 11, 12, or 13? Have you tried everything, including asking Facebook, Reddit, Stove, Discord, and your best friend how to beat wyvern? Well, I'm Shotgun Shogun, and today on the Training Grounds, I'm going to tell you about 2 3-star characters that will change your entire wyvern life. So first off, let's hop over to this right here. We're going to be talking about Terranargard and Alexa. Now, these 2 3-stars are going to just change the entire landscape of your wyvern team. And I've had a couple people in the past go, you know what, Shogun, I don't want to invest in a 3-star when I could invest in a 5-star or a 4-star and use them in other content, things like that. Well, I'm here to tell you that that outlook is dumb, and you should really kind of look at it from a standpoint of investing in these characters is investing in the long-term viability of your account. Now, you're never going to stop farming wyvern. There's never a point where you're going to have too much speed gear. You're never going to be like, you know what, Shogun, I just have too many plus 20 speed substat speed set pieces of gear. That's never going to happen. If it does, why are you even watching this video? You have won Epic7 already. So one of the big things with 3-stars is you don't need Mologoras, correct? So you don't have to invest Mologoras into a unit that you may only use for wyvern. You're probably not going to be bringing your Chloe to RTA, to Arena. You're probably not going to be bringing Furious to many of those things either. So leveling and investing in these 2 characters is very, very beneficial to your account because you can do it on the quick. And not only that, once you have them established, you never have to think about wyvern ever again. No Molgora investment, no, hardcore leveling up. They're a lot easier to level because they are 3-stars. So what do they do? Let's talk about them first off. We're going to talk about Terranargard. And a lot of people already know what Terranargard does. If you've watched anybody doing videos on wyvern, you've already seen Terranargard. Most people will use Terranargard for wyvern. And the reason being is that because Terranargard has a 75% chance to decrease defense on his S1. Now, you are going to want to turn your skill off so you don't use the S3 really, because you don't really need that. You just need the defense break. And if you were lucky enough to pick up a Junkyard Dog from the Guilty Gear rerun, which we just had, you are in an even better spot considering that he can use that, and it's going to make him a lot better at applying debuffs and defense break, which you're going to need in order to really bring home the DPS on wyvern. So as you can see, he does need Mysterious Flash, like a lot of characters that I like and want to skill up, and Mysterious Flash is used all the time. So this is going to be one of your primary skills. You are going to want to absolutely make sure that you max this out. Max it out because even though at +4 you get the plus 15% chance, at +5 you do get the extra damage, and you are going to be wanting to use him as damage. Now his skill 2 is going to be really important as well, and this is going to increase the chance for dual attack by 5%. Combat readiness of all allies is also increased by 25%, and the caster is granted increased attack for 1 turn when a dual attack is triggered. Now, what you can do is you can run unity pieces on him. So you now have a reason for those random unity pieces that you have that may have rolled pretty decent substats, like, oh, where am I ever going to use this? Terranargard or other individuals on your wyvern team. This means that the more double attacks that you get, the more your team's going to really pop off and just farm really hard. Now you can level skill 3, but you're not going to use skill 3 because this pierces the enemy's weak point with a spear, decreasing combat readiness by 40%. This goes up to 50%, but you can't decrease wyvern's combat readiness, so this is absolutely worthless when it comes to wyvern farming. So as you can see, you're going to want to make sure that he is very fast. This is going to be one of your fastest unit on the team. You're going to want to build him very high speed, very high effectiveness. His entire job is to just pop off, get defense breaks, get burns, what have you, and trigger dual attacks. So this is going to be very important. You're going to want to just get his speed way up, way up. Now, you are going to want to also make sure that he can take a couple hits. You don't want him dying in the first wave. Now, your main bread and butter DPS, this is going to be Alexa, and you're going to want to make sure that Alexa's a little on the high damage side. She doesn't need to be very fast, and we're going to go over some of her skills and why she doesn't really need to be super fast, but she does need to have some effectiveness and a just metric pile of crit damage, and we're going to talk about crit damage as well and why you need that. So first off, let's take a look at her skills. First skill is going to be Fell, and this cuts an enemy with a dual wield sword. A critical hit will have a 50% chance of granting an extra attack. Now when you upgrade this, it's going to just 100% give you an extra attack. Now why is that so important? It's because the way that Daydream Joker works with crit damage, right? So you're effectively getting 2 hits out of this, which means that both of those hits are going to be beholden to Daydream Joker, critical hit damage, and the more of those more crit hit damage that you have, the more damage you're going to be doing overall. So really, realistically on her, you don't really need to stack a ton of attack. You need her to be really, you need to cap out critical hit damage on her. Now, a little bit of extra attack is good. You are going to want to have at least like 65% effectiveness, and that's because of her skill 2. Now, this attacks with a cold blade, 80% chance to inflict 2 poisons for 2 turns. And it also increases the combat readiness of the caster. Now you can get this up to 100% chance, so you are going to want to make sure that you're leveling this. Alexa is going to be one of those units that you are going to want to get to plus 15. And as you can see without Mulgora's, that's going to be a lot easier because her third skill, this attacks the enemy continuously, dealing damage proportional to the number of debuffs inflicted upon the enemy. Now this is like a bootleg Sigrid, right? A lot of people use Sigrid for Wyvern. If you do use Sigrid, well, you don't necessarily need Alexa, or you can just bring both of them for even more damage, more debuffs, more bleeds all over the place. If you did pick up Torn Sleeve from the Guilty Gear rerun, you could potentially run that instead of Daydream Joker to inflict more bleeds for Sigrid if you're using Sigrid. But personally, Daydream Joker is going to be your biggest amount of damage here. You can also bring other debuffers like, let's say, Dizzy or something along those lines. It really depends on what your other 2 things are, but these 2 characters are going to be your most clutch units that you can ever have for Wyvern at such a low investment price point. So if you're thinking about how do I future-proof my account, these 2 are going to be it. Not only that, but you can use these units on other things as well. But for Alexa, you are going to want to have a good range of stats here. You are going to want to make sure that you are stacking critical hit chance up to 85% because you get 15% chance to crit on elemental advantage. I think that's what it is. I don't have it pulled up right now, but I usually get to 85%, right? Cap out critical hit damage as soon as possible. Keep her moderate speed. If you keep her too slow, you're not going to be really doing too much, right? You're going to be relying on the pop-offs from the dual attacks, things along those lines. And really, this is going to be your huge damage dealer right here. She's going to be carrying the heavy load. Everybody else is there just to make sure that she can get hit. She can hit Wyvern with the defense break on. She can hit the S3 with a pile of debuffs on. And you're going to want to also run things like, if you're running a team like, let me show you, go flip back to my screen right here. Okay, so I will give you a little look at the way that I run my Wyvern team. Now, don't emulate this. My Alexa is a little bit geared differently, mostly because I wanted to speed this up and I'm putting my life in the hands of the RNG gods. And I also have my Seaside Bell set for hybrid RTA PvP Wyvern. It's a hot mess. My Wyvern team is a hot mess right now. But taking a look at my Alexa, as you can see, I do have her plus 15, as this is going to greatly increase my overall speed. Now, I understand she does require Twisted Fangs for her skills, which is a huge pain in the butt. It's not really the easiest things to get, and they kind of suck. So I do have her at 350 critical hit damage. I have her at 86% critical hit chance. Now her speed is a little bit low, 132, but that is okay for me. Now, as you can see, I don't have much in the way of effectiveness on her, which I did state earlier that you do kind of need effectiveness, but I do make up for that in other places. Now, if you are running somebody like, let's say you do have a Dizzy, you can negate most of your effectiveness in favor of damage on Alexa and just go for the S1, or even if you want to keep it turned on, you can S1 and S3 and S2 and all that jazz, and rely on mostly Terranagard and Dizzy for debuffs. I personally don't, but you can. And so I'll show you my Terranagard real quick, and I will have, where is he at? He's right here. So he's plus 13. I really don't have much in the way of skill enhancements. I was going to level up his S3 just to have the completionist plus 15 on my 3 stars, but as you can see, I am running a plus 30 Junkyard Dog on him for the burn debuffs. I have 210 speed, and I have 127 effectiveness. This also means that I am never going to land a debuff on Wyvern, because effectiveness is a complete and total lie most of the time. For anybody who has ever just watched it, you're just going to get a ton of resists. So I am going to go here. Let me show you a real quick run through. It should go pretty quick, and I'm probably, you know what, I'm actually probably going to fail this run, because that's typically how this goes every time that I do this. And I'll tell you how I have this set up, right? So I have Terranagard goes first. I do have my General Purges go before Seaside Belle and Alexa, right? So I need Alexa to have her S2 going into the next phase. Now, this is just for the chance at having that potential double poison proc. Now, she has no effectiveness. Chances are I'm never going to land it. It doesn't matter. I have it set up like this in case I do move some effectiveness back over to her. So this way I get the attack buff on everybody. Everybody has attack buff right now. Terranagard and Seaside Belle are going to finish everything off here, and we are going to go in here, and we're going to go to the next phase. Okay, so I do have the speed tuned a little bit differently, so we don't get the Alexa S2 into this, so I'll have to go back and adjust some things. I think it was when I changed up my Seaside Belle gear. Okay, so we do get the defense break here, and as you can see, she just does a metric pile of damage with that double up, and the double attacks from her are very, very devastating to Wyvern. This is going to increase your speed so much. And the big thing here is the way that Daydream Joker works alongside of critical hit damage, because she does damage based on Wyvern's max hit points here. This is going to stack up with your Daydream Joker, and you're just going to be doing piles of damage. As you can see, I'm doing what, 50k there at one point. So this is definitely a huge thing. So even though she is very, very slow, you're still doing 61,000 damage with that gear. And again, that gear is not it's not my best gear. I could probably get more attack out of it, but as you can see, I did get it's mostly arena gear and the level 78 Destro gear that we got. The only reforged piece that I have is the chest piece. Everything else is just stuff that I have picked up over the time. This didn't even really roll that well, but it is 65% attack main stat with some critical hit damage sub. This actually did roll pretty okay here, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, I'm not rocking like full reforged 90 gear to do what it was that I just did. So as this whole video just comes down to, do you want to future-proof your account Alexa and Terranagard are probably some of your best priority characters. Don't worry about, you know, do I want to put Mologoras into this character? They're going to just mostly be there for Wyvern. You can easily level these characters up. As you can see, 10 friendship here. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. I hope that this has helped out. I will do more things in the future on 3 stars that will help your account out, how to future-proof your account, and things along that lines. If you do like this content and you're not subscribed yet, as always, hit that subscribe button, smash the bell notification, share this out to people who may think that investing in 3 stars is just a super dumb idea. It's not. Some of the 3 stars are some of the most clutch characters in this game to help your account out. And as always, I do appreciate you guys sticking around, and I will catch you guys on the next one. For me, I'm out. Peace.
Crack it.